I just got a very beautiful letter from Raymond, who's on his beautiful new job. We blessed him here in the prayer service the other night. I forget Raymond's age. I guess he's in his upper 20s. But some time ago, he was broke down and out. Saw Reverend Ike on television, and his response was, well, when he heard Reverend Ike preaching about prosperity and money, his response was, oh, that man is full of... But then he was in such a bad condition, he was so bad off, that he decided he'd try that. Had nothing to lose. He had nothing. So he got in contact with this ministry and started coming to these classes and learning how to work with the Lord, the law of mind, learning how to work with his mind. And he got motivated and turned on. He didn't even have clothes to go for job interviews, but he borrowed an old army jacket from his brother and went and got him a job. And then he went to computer science school. Got himself one succession of good-paying jobs after another. And he heard me preaching about everybody ought to have at least 2 vacations a year, but he did me many times better than that. I got a letter from him yesterday with a big juicy check in it with his tithes from his first big paycheck on his new job in a new city. And that envelope was filled with beautiful picture postcards of the beautiful places that he had been traveling to, living in expensive hotels, luxury resorts. All expenses paid by his company. So there's a young man that got a hold of the Lord, the law of mind. Changed his mind about himself and about me. I don't care what you call my stuff, I dare you to work with it. I don't care what you call the Lord, I dare you to work with it. You know, different ones of us call the Lord or the law by different names, but it's all the same. Norman Vincent Peale calls it the power of positive thinking. Another wonderful minister calls it possibility thinking. Clement Stone calls it the success system that never fails. Reverend Ike calls it the stuff. And Raymond called it something else. But it worked. Say with me, be you transformed, by the renewing of your mind. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is the exact law for getting what you want. I want to impart to you today that this is an exact law. Say with me, this is exact law. Give up luck and work with law. Don't live by the way the cookie crumbles, the way the mop flops. That was an old saying in the Air Force, you know. If you got some dirty job that you didn't want to do, like going on KP for a week, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you kind of grumbled about it, whoever assigned you that duty would say, well, fella, that's just the way the mop flops. Sorry about that, but that's just the way the cookie crumbled. In other words, this is just your dumb luck. Now back to Raymond for just a moment. He sent me that great, big, juicy check for tithes. Woo! You're going to turn it in at the offering today. And here is a young man that literally went from poverty to riches. He's going in different places in the world, living at luxury resorts. He said, Reverend Ike said we should have at least 2 vacations a year, and he got more than 2 vacations. And getting paid for all of that. The changeless law changes all things. Say that again. The changeless law changes all things. And this law is exact. This is very important that I'm about to say now. I've got it written in caps and underlined, and I want you to underline it in your consciousness, and I want you to repeat it after me. Every person gets the same response from the law of mind.
Every person gets the same response from the law of mind.
Do you know that the poor man gets the same response from the law of mind that the rich man gets? Absolutely. People say that life is not fair. Life is fair. Life happens by exact law. Well, Reverend Ike, what do you mean that the poor man gets the same response from the law as the rich man? Yes, the exact same response. The poor man thinks poor and gets poverty. The rich man thinks rich and gets riches. They're both thinking. And the law is responding to both of them how? According to the nature of their thoughts. I've told you time and time again, and will probably tell you time and time again, I came to New York at 17 years of age to work my way through school, and I did. And when I walked down the ritzy section of Central Park South, I was just like Alex in Wonderland. Those were the days when all of the Rolls Royces were lined up at the curb in front of the plaza and the Essex House. And the elegant ladies and gentlemen were getting in and out of their chauffeured Rolls Royce limousines. I didn't know what a Rolls Royce was, but when I saw it, I knew that was me. I said, that's me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, many days as I got out of class, subway fare was a dime. Many days when I got out of class, I didn't have a dime to ride the subway. And I have peeled off my jacket off of my back and put it in the pawn shop to get $2 so that I could ride back and forth until I got a few more bucks. But here I was looking at Rolls Royces and saying, that's me. I was staking my claim in mind. I was putting in my claim with the Lord, with the law of mind. I was building my self-image, and I was building Rolls Royce into my self-image. Whatever you want, build it into your self-image. This is an exact law of mine. All right, so repeat it after me. Whatever I want, I build it into my self-image. I said I didn't know what a Rolls Royce was. I'd never seen one to know it before. But I knew that that was me. I knew that was what I wanted. You see, that's another thing about me. I've always known what I wanted. You see, that's the first thing with some of you. You don't know what the hell you want. And if you want it, you're too mealy-mouthed to say it. And I kept building that into my self-image. That now, when I go down Central Park South, my Rolls Royce is about the only ones I see. A few years ago, when Ebony Magazine was taking pictures of a flock of the church's Rolls Royces in Beverly Hills, they were spread out in front of the Bel Air Hotel, out in Bel Air, among the multi-million-dollar estates. And a member of my staff said to me, he said, Reverend, you know, while they were taking pictures of all of these Rolls Royces, a lady came out here, a very elegant lady, and she said, my goodness, whose Rolls Royces are these? I don't know who they belong to, but whoever they belong to, he must be God. I said to him, she doesn't know how correct she is. It all belongs to my Father. Say that with me. It all belongs to my Father. And who's my Father? My source, my thought, my mind. That's who your Father is, your source, your mind, your thought. Everything that you want belongs to your Father, your thought. Your thought is the only producer, the only creator. By the way, don't miss the next session in this series, because the title of that next lesson is Make Your Mind Produce What You Want. And it gives you the exact chart for making your mind produce what you want. Your mind is the only producer. Your mind is the father, the source of everything that is in your material world. And whatever you want, as Reverend Ike says, and again, this bespeaks the law of mind, the exact law of mind, succinctly. Whatever you want, first get it in your mind. Repeat after me. Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
First, get it in your mind.
Get it in your mind.
That's the exact law for getting what you want.
I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The angels in the heaven